I was signing the last divorce paper when the pen slipped and cut my thumb. A thin line of blood bloomed on the margin, bright and precise fitting. I pressed the paper flat, finished my signature, and smiled at the symmetry of it. Ink, blood, closure. That night, alone, I emptied my wallet onto the kitchen counter. Cards, dust, old loyalty, and a receipt from a café I'd never been to. The back, in neat, patient handwriting, "Come back when you're ready to start over." Curiosity is a quiet vice. It doesn't shout, it waits. We met in a clean place, sunlight through glass, promises said without witnesses. I trusted the way you laughed with your whole chest, trusted the small rituals. Coffee at 7, keys on the hook, my name said like it mattered. Trust grows fastest when nothing seems urgent. We built a life from habits, that's what made the betrayal efficient. It began with absences that felt reasonable. A late meeting, a phone turned face down. Like a prayer, you stopped asking questions. Answers are how liars trap themselves. I noticed the new cologne, first wood and citrus. A confidence I didn't recognize then. The way you rehearsed kindness, too careful, too gentle, as if I were fragile glass instead of a blade. The proof arrived quietly. A message lit your screen when you were in the shower. One word. Soon. I didn't read more. I didn't need to. Control isn't about knowing everything. It's about knowing enough. I didn't confront you, I reorganized. I learned the difference between anger and leverage. I called a lawyer recommended by someone who hates waste. I photographed bank statements, archived emails, documented dates. I let you underestimate me. You mistook my silence for shock. It was inventory. I moved money the way you move furniture, in the dark by memory. Joint accounts separated, debts clarified, assets frozen at the right moment. I volunteered for the chores you avoided and found the receipts you forgot. I spoke softly to your friends, asked questions that sounded like concern. People love to confess when they think they're helping. Weeks later, the receipt burned through my pocket. The café sat on a narrow street, brick and glass, a bell on the door. The barista looked up before I reached the counter. She smiled like someone who recognizes a scar. "I was wondering when you'd come," she said. The place smelled like forgiveness and espresso. On the wall, a corkboard of notes, apologies, beginnings, names crossed out. I ordered black coffee. She slid it toward me with the practiced grace of someone finishing a sentence. "He said you'd find it," she sighed. "Always said you were careful." "He?" I asked, already knowing. She nodded. "The other woman, not a villain, just precise. I had told me to give you this when you showed." She passed me an envelope. Inside, a ledger, dates, gifts, hotel nights, lies costed down to cents. The handwriting matched the receipt. I thanked her and left without finishing the coffee. Outside, the city held its breath. The plan crystallized. I didn't want ruin, I wanted recognition. Justice isn't loud, it's thorough. I let the divorce proceed, no theatrics. I took what the law allowed and nothing more. I leaked nothing except a truth placed where it would be discovered. The ledger found its way to the compliance department at your firm, accompanied by a question. Questions are sharper than accusations. I waited. Waiting is work. The call came on a Tuesday. You sounded small. There was an investigation, irregularities, ethics. You asked if I knew anything. I told you the truth. I know you, I said. Silence did the rest. We met in the café you thought belonged to someone else. I chose the table by the window when you arrived. You didn't exit. You stood, as if movement could save you. I slid the envelope across the table. Your name looked heavy on paper. "You kept records?" you asked. "I kept myself," I said. "You tried anger, it failed. You tried pleading, it felt late." I watched the realization move through you, the slow inventory of doors closing. Your firm suspended you pending review. Friends stopped returning calls. The other woman vanished with her neat handwriting and better instincts. The barista watched us from behind the counter, a witness without allegiance. I stood. "You taught me something," I said, "how to listen." After, I walked until my feet hurt. Relief isn't joy, it's quiet. It's the absence of weight you didn't realize you were carrying. I burned the ledger at home, page by page, careful with the ashes. Evidence is only powerful while it exists. I returned to the café once more, alone. The barista nodded. Our benediction. I wrote a note and pinned it to the board. Ready. Then I closed my wallet. Empty things are lighter. I don't hate you. Hate is a leash. I chose precision instead. I chose to rise without asking permission. When people ask how I survived, I tell them the truth. I paid attention, and when the moment came, I spent everything I'd saved.